Good evening. We are very much delighted to take part in Jury 2025. So let's begin our presentation. Myself, Dr. Piyali Roy Chaudhary, and Dr. Elizabeth, along with Professor Jeffrey Moore, we are presenting on a topic sustainability in the economy through the achievement of gender equality, a study on Asian economies. So our abstract talks about how triple bottom line and the specific agenda for sustainability, which is known as undernourishment and gender inequality, take a take an important part while talking about growth for any economy. So our particular this article explains how triple bottom line is at the highest priority level for the countries and how countries are trying to reach their level of sustainability by giving an importance towards undernourishment and undernourishment in the way of how people are living, the living standards, and gender equality. So that is our motto. And then to specify that, we can say that for the last 2 decades, integration of environmental, social, and governmental, that is ESG factors, into decision making has become one of the most transformative shifts. ESG has not only reshaped investment portfolios but also entered mainstream of public disclosure. And at the center of this shift is the triple bottom line. So overall, the study shows that tackling climate change, advancing sustainable finance, and promoting inclusive development all requires a new focus for the growth. And these goals cannot be met without treating gender as a central driver of triple bottom line and ESG frameworks. So we have filled the conceptual gaps, and then the study builds a base for rethinking sustainability in Asia. It views economic and social pillars not as a separate tracks but as a forces that shape and support each other. So we have a couple of literature review which explains how growth of ESG and its measurement for developing as well as developed economies, and it is very much recent, starting from 2022 till 2025 we tried to keep. And also we have some literatures based on how triple bottom line is very much consistent with respect to Asian economies. The research gaps are as follows. It talks about particularly Asian context, and then it tries to fill the gap explaining while global models emphasize universal matrices, Asia's unique development trajectories complicate their straightforward application. For instance, rapid urbanization, persistent gender inequalities, and varying state society relationships create specific patterns of trade-offs and synergies. Then comes gender dynamics, in particular, illustrate the subtle interconnection between economic growth and social sustainability. And finally, this research shows that women participation in decision making is one of the crucial factors while describing growth for an economy. So thus, this study positions itself bridging a gap by investigating intra-pillar relationships between economic initiatives and social outcomes in the triple bottom line model. Specifically, it seeks to demonstrate how gender equality functions not only as a social norm or ethical imperative, but also as a driver of economic resilience, innovation, and long-term sustainability outcomes. So we have a few questions. The questions are there are three major questions that we have. The first question is, how does gender equality interact with economic and social dimensions of the triple bottom line framework in Asian contexts? The second is, Do threshold effects exist in women participation such that sustainability outcomes are significantly amplified only beyond a certain level of inclusion? And the third question is, what theoretical and policy implications follow from recognizing gender equality as a structuring principle of sustainable development? So based on that, we have three different proper research questions. So we want to investigate whether there is a statistically significant long-run equilibrium relationship between gross national income, governance equality, and urban development needs. And then research question 2 talks about how government equality and urban development needs affect gross national income. And research question 3 talks about to what extent the error mechanism indicates significant adjustment of GNI towards long-term equilibrium. So this is our conceptual model where we talk about how GNI and how UDN is or are affecting GINQ, gender inequality, how this factor is affected by gross national income and undernourishment, to be very specific. So these are our unit 2 test results, and this is our long run equilibrium where we showed that there remains a kind of long run relationship, and also we show that how GNI is working as an working as a dependent variable, how it affects the relationship, and GINQ, that is gender inequality, as a dependent variable, how it affects the model. So this is the short run outcome where GINQ is a dependent variable. This is a long run dependent variable, undernourishment, and short run undernourishment as a dependent variable. So the discussion is undernourishment negatively affects the growth of the country. So that means as poor nutrition reduces labor productivity, it increases healthcare burdens, and then it limits human capital development. Also, the discussion talks about in the long run, undernourishment positively influence gender inequality, likely due to targeted interventions aimed at vulnerable populations. Such efforts may promote access to nutrition, healthcare, education for women. So as a result, gender disparities gradually decline. Undernourishment affects the short-term growth, sustained health, and then thus we have to focus on undernourishment with respect to policy implications. So thus, Asian policymakers must introduce targeted nutritious program to encounter undernourishment, immediate drag towards enhancing gross national income, school feeding, and material nutrition, and improved rural food access. So embedding the gender sensitive measures ensures women and girls gain equal access towards food, healthcare, education. This approach fosters lasting reductions in gender equality and supports the economic growth. The cross-section collaboration is very much consistent, monitoring the essential outcomes. So our conclusion is undernourishment is one of the major challenges in Asian economies, as this research points out that moving undernourishment is the key driver of the removing undernourishment is the key driver of the economic growth. If a country tries to reduce undernourishment, it can actualize growth in national income. As this is based on short run, increasing productivity, enhancing higher healthcare infrastructure, it will be the ultimate goal for governments to initiate. And also financing nutrition represents a significant economic policies for Asia and crucial aspect of the social policy. They can tackle the pressing issue which is very much prominent for Asian economies. Thank you so much. We are glad to present here. We want to take your feedback from the audience.